Welcome back to the Diplomat, y'all. Asana here again, sharing insights into how can you study here in the US for free, and is that even possible? So you heard it, free. So grab your notebook and let's dive right into it. So now the $1 million question is, how can you make it happen so you can study here in the US for free? And the answer lies into merit-based scholarships, need-based scholarships, and sponsoring. But before we go into the nitty-gritty details about those three things, I just want to say that if you guys are interested in the lists of universities that are offering free tuition and low-cost education, stay until the end because I'm gonna tell you guys where to find them. So let's start with the easy one, the need-based scholarships. I'd say it's easy because you don't have to do a lot of things. So need-based scholarships are basically universities are trying to determine how much scholarships they are willing to give you. So they will look into they're gonna ask you lots of questions about your financial background, your family's financial background. For example, they're gonna ask you how much money does your family make in a year, and the range is between 30,000 a year up to like 75,000 a year. It depends on where the university is. If the university is in a high cost of living, then they might do a prorated amount based on like the cost of living. And if the university is in a lower cost of living, and then they will do the math and calculate like what is the amount they are willing to put in their universities to determine how much scholarships they are willing to offer you. So the key is the higher the amount, the higher your chances to like get a full ride scholarship, because if your family are making less than what they are putting in their like your application, then you have a good chance. For example, there are universities in the West. The West is like here, Colorado, Utah, Idaho, California, Oregon, Washington, and lots of universities here in the West. The average that I've seen is about $55,000 a year. So they're gonna ask this question like, hey, how much money does your family make less or up to $50,000 a year? If you say yes, then you have a higher chance to get at least 75% scholarship or tuition reduction. And that's how the need-based scholarship works. So they are looking into your financial background. And the most popular is the merit-based scholarship. It's basically like universities are looking into your GPA in high school. If you are an international student, then they're gonna look into not your GPA, because GPA is basically just like for the US, but they're gonna look into your ACT, they're gonna look into your TOEFL scores, or if you are going to a master's program, they're gonna look into your GPA while you were in an undergrad. And if you're an international student and your score was not determined based on a GPA, setting, then you're gonna um, you're gonna have to like translate those scores, your university scores here in the US, and they're gonna determine what GPA did you have when you were uh, in your university back home. And they're gonna look into your GRE or GMAT, and basically they're gonna look into your scores, and apart from your scores, they're gonna look into your extracurricular activities, like, hey, were you a president of a club, and did that contribute into your educational growth or something like that? How involved were you in your communities? Like, hey, did you have any community services back in high school, or if you were doing an undergrad and you were applying for a master's degree, did you have anything that are related to your major that helped you grow or something like that? So that's the merit based. So basically they're looking to your performance before you were applying for any degree, whether it's undergrad or grad school. And for the sponsoring, the third one, it's a little bit hard because you have to convince a lot of people, like, hey, why are you taking this degree, and is it gonna help you after graduate? For example, my case, I went through the route of sponsoring first, and when I got here in the US, I applied for a lot of scholarships and grant, and I didn't have to pay a lot. Sometimes it was free. For only 2 semesters, I didn't have to pay a lot. Maybe maximum was $200 because I had scholarships sometimes. But the last I think 2 years of my undergrad, I didn't pay any dime for tuition. So basically the sponsoring, like I said in previous videos, is about you going out there, talking to lots of people that are here in the US. They have to be at least a green card holder. If they are international students like us, then they can't sponsor another international students. So find someone that are here in the US that are willing to help you out with your degree. And there is another way to find sponsorship as well. For example, if your major is about climate change, find organizations that are advocating like climate change, because they are willing to help you out to get that degree. And if you are into like hospitality or anything you want to do, you can find it in the internet, but just be careful for scammers. There are a lot of scammers out there that are trying to like convince you, like, hey, we do this, we do that, and so on and so forth. But find a make sure you talk to them like through Zoom. You interview them. That's what I've been doing, like interview lots of people, like, hey, I want to do this, can you help me out with this? It took me 3 years to like convince my sponsors to like, hey, can you fund my education? Basically what I did is those 3 things together. I started with sponsorship. I was looking for people that are here in the US, that are US citizens, and I asked them like, hey, the university that I'm going to doesn't have a scholarships until I get some, until I have some credits. That was when I applied, but now it has changed. And I convinced them like, hey, once I'm there, I'm gonna work hard to get good grades and I can get some scholarships. So I started with the sponsorship route, and then I worked hard. I had a good GPA, not the best, but at least decent. When I started, my GPA was 4.0. It went down to 3.8. And with 3.8, I had 75% scholarships. And I carried on. And I think 2 years before I finished my degree, my undergrad degree, I had a full ride. So my sponsors didn't have to pay a lot, because with your sponsor, you need to talk about your tuition, your rent, everything. So talk to them like, hey, this is what I can come up with, or something like that. And this is what I'm gonna do while I'm studying. For example, I'm gonna work and study. I'm gonna work at the university and study at the same time and work hard to get scholarships. And the other way is to find organizations that are willing to sponsor you. So those are the 3 things for you guys, for us international students to do if we wanna study here in the US, basically free, because you do lots of work and you get to study here for free. And I talked about the lists of universities that are offering free tuition and low-cost education. In the comment below, I'll put those lists, and you guys are gonna do your own research about those universities. But there you have it, our guide into how to study here in the US for free. If you think that this video was helpful to you or to your significant others, feel free to share it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you are on Facebook, follow my Facebook page, share it to your friends, families, whoever you want to share it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.